Jesse, it's my understanding that George Soros has been banned from entering or living again in some countries. Can we do the same thing? Is that something America can do, or is that not something our Constitution or the people will back? And if it's something we can do, why is it we have not acted on it all these years? Keep up the great work. Okay. Well, one, let's understand one thing clearly, very, very, very clearly. America can do whatever it wants. Whatever it wants. And you reference the Constitution. And let me be clear about this. I love the Constitution. You love the Constitution. I'm glad you know it. But please stop thinking about that document as something that is going to protect you, as something that frankly matters at all anymore. I don't take any pleasure in saying that at all. But it's true. Let's get right into this Nancy Pelosi thing. Here's a headline from Fox News. Nancy Pelosi roasted over, I'll come back to Soros. Believe me, it's all on the same lines. Nancy Pelosi roasted over Trump indictment tweet saying he has a right to prove his innocence at trial. And everyone's dumping on that, saying that's not constitutional. What are you talking about? That's not the law. You know what I think when I hear that? It makes me laugh. It makes me cry. It makes me cringe, and not on Nancy Pelosi's behalf. Nancy Pelosi's out there speaking about power. She's out there speaking about reality. We got our communist DA in New York City to arrest your guy. He can try to prove his innocence at trial. And the right that is always seems to be 20, 30 years behind the communists, has once again lamely rolled up. Yeah, she's so stupid. That's not constitutional. Do you think Nancy Pelosi cares what's constitutional? Do you think Alvin Bragg cares what's constitutional? I am glad that you have your pocket constitution. I really am. It is a wonderful document. I'm not disrespecting it. I'm disrespecting people who still think it matters at all. Take your pocket constitution down to the New York City DA's office and hand it to Alvin Bragg so you can watch him wipe his rear end with it. Your Constitution, the Constitution itself, yes, it is supposed to be the law of the land. Yes, it's a wonderful document, making sure the government is limited. Yes, all those things are 100% true. The Constitution, we all must understand, is simply a contract, and many people who lead the nation, if not all of them, have opted out of it. When all the powerful people opt out of it, why do we still bring up the Constitution anymore? Why are we even dreaming about limiting ourselves with the Constitution anymore? So let's go back to your question. By the way, Chris, I want you to dig something up for me. I'm sorry I forgot to do it. This would have helped me make my point if I knew I was going to go off on this at the beginning of the show. Recently, it might have been this week or last week, one of Joe Biden's nominees for one of the high courts didn't know what Article 5 was in the Constitution. Dig that up for me if you wouldn't mind really fast. Anyway, back to my point. So when we think about things like deporting George Soros, and let's go off on that for just a moment. George Soros was not born here. George Soros is a foreign-born billionaire who not only has spent billions of dollars creating civil unrest within the borders of the United States of America, he brags about it. He pens articles in the New York Times. He sits down for television interviews, not only bragging about what he did, proclaiming that he intends to do it again and again and again. It's a great indicator how much trouble this nation is in that George Soros hasn't been purged from these shores. You've heard me say it before if you've listened to this show for a long time, but I'll say it again. No nation, no significant nation in the history of mankind would allow a foreign-born rich guy to not only spend a fortune to create unrest in their cities, to brag about it. All of them would have handled the problem. We can't banish him from our shores. We can't strip him of his citizenship, ban him from our shores, and promise to imprison him when he comes back. Any serious nation that was interested in surviving would do that. Now, back to your question about the Constitution. Does the Constitution ban us? We have got to set aside the Constitution. And I know you've never heard that on conservative radio, if that's what you consider this before. But my goodness, we're worried. Well, can we deport George Soros? Is it constitutional? Listen to this. This guy's getting ready to sit on one of the highest courts in the land. I don't think he's ever read the Constitution.
Judge on the far end. Tell me what Article 5 of the Constitution does.
Article 5 is not coming to mind at the moment.
Okay. How about Article 2?
Neither is Article 2.
Okay. Do you know what purposivism is?
In my 12 years as an assistant attorney general and my 9 years serving as a judge, I was not faced with that precise question.
Yeah. 9 years as assistant attorney general. Oh, how many? 12 years as a judge, did she say, Chris? I think she just said 12 years as a judge. Yeah. What's Article 5? Wow, Article 5? Of what? USA Today? Article 5? I don't know. There were articles? Okay, what about Article 2? Maybe you're just having a brain fart. Ooh, Article 2? Gosh, how many are there? I don't know about that one either. We walk into battle every day on the right, and we walk into battle with this wonderful list of rules, and it really is a great list of rules. Hey, I won't do this, and you can't do that, and we won't do this, and we won't do that. And man, we are proud of that list of rules, because that list of rules has made for some great games, hasn't it? It's been fantastic for our sport overall, and it's been some great games. But we walk into battle with this list of rules every time, and they walk into battle, and we present this list of rules to them. Here, hey, look, these are our rules. And they look at it and say, well, that's hilarious. Those are your rules. Those aren't my rules. Not my rules. And we say, no, that's it. It's the Constitution. And I said, no, that's your Constitution. I've never even read it, nor do I care about it. Those aren't my rules. Go ahead, stick with your rules. I'll do with no rules. No, but it's not constant. We continue to come back to it as if it will save us. The Constitution ain't coming to save you. It's not. George Soros should be purged from these shores. A Republican AG should have already issued an indictment for a Democrat.